Hi, Potty Peeps, day 2 of solving radical inequalities. So we're going to do the same process. Let's isolate my square root, which means we want to square both sides. 3 squared is 9. X minus 4 is greater than or equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. I went ahead and FOILed that out. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute this in. So I got 9x minus 4 is greater than or equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now let's get our x's on the same side. So let's move our, that's a minus 36. Let's get our x's on the same side. So let's move the 9x. Let's add the 36. So we get 0 is greater than or equal to x squared minus 13x plus 40. Now that is factorable, right? Factors of 40. Okay, we know they need to be the same sign, so they're both going to be negative. Okay, I've got x minus 5 and x minus 8. So my solutions are x equals positive 5 and x equals positive 8. Now, let's check our domain restriction. Our domain restriction right here is the radicand. So x minus 4 needs to be greater than or equal to 0, so x is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, well I know that my two solutions are within my domain restriction, so that's good. Alright, so now what we need to figure out is we need to figure out where does the graph of my square root function, which starts at positive 4, where is that greater than or equal to the linear equation x minus 2? So y equals x minus 2. So down 2, okay, we would have y-intercept right there. Okay, and it would look something like this. Okay. Now, my graph kind of sucks, but here's 4, here's 5, where they intersect, and then here's 8, where once again it intersects. So my solution is between 5 and 8. So I would write that as x is between 5 and 8. Alright, let's go down to number 2. Okay, number 2, same thing. We're looking to isolate the square root. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I get the square root of x plus 2 is greater than 3/7 x. Now, I'm going to get rid of my fraction because I hate fractions. So I'm going to multiply by 7 on both sides to get rid of my fraction. So I get 7 times the square root of x plus 2 is greater than 3x. Now I can go ahead and square this to get rid of my square root. Square this. So I've got 49 x plus 2 is greater than 9x. Sorry, not x plus 2. Yeah. Okay. So now I need to distribute this in. So I've got 49x plus 98 is greater than 9x squared. Now once again, we're going to look to factor this. So I need to get everything on this side of the equal sign. So this is 0 is greater than, I'm going to subtract 49x. So I got 9x squared minus 49x, and then subtract 98, so minus 98. Now again, that's factorable. Okay, I'm not going to go into it, but that's factorable. It's going to factor out into 9x plus 14, and it's going to factor into x minus 7. So my two solutions are x equals positive 7 and x equals negative 14/9. Now let's check our domain restriction. Our domain restriction is x plus 2 is greater than 0. Okay, so x is greater than negative 2. Okay, well both of these solutions are greater than negative 2. Both of these solutions are greater than negative 2. Alright, so if we look at our graph, okay, this graph would be down 3 to the left 2. Sorry. And it would look something like this. Okay, and my linear function is 3/7 x minus 3, so it would be down 3, we'd go up 3 over 7. Okay, Okay, so my linear function would look something like this. Intersecting at x equals 7. So now I want to know, when is my radical greater than my linear function? Well, when is my radical above my linear function? It's above my linear function, not just starting at negative 14/9. It starts at my domain restriction, which is at negative 2. So my function is greater than the linear equation from negative 2 to 7. Now, why is that not equal to? Okay, because look at my inequality symbol here. That is not equal. All right, let's go on to number 3. Okay, number 3, again, we want to isolate my square root, so let's subtract 1 on both sides. We get 4 square root of x minus 2 is greater than or equal to x plus 2. All right, now again, we want to square both sides to get rid of my square root. Square this. 16 x minus 2 is greater than x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now let's get our x's together, so let's move this over. So I get 0 is greater than x squared minus 12x plus 36. Okay, I went ahead and multiplied. This is 16x, so we subtract 16x to that side. I got negative 12x. This is a negative 32. That's where I got a positive 36. All right, now I can factor this. Plus, so that means that both of my signs need to be the same. So that's x minus 6 and x minus 6. So we let my solution are x equals 6. All right, so now I only have one solution, meaning that these two only cross uno times. Let's check our domain restriction. X minus 2 is greater than 0. So x is greater than 2. Okay, so we know that we're starting x is greater than 2. Okay, this would be at, we went right 2, we went up 1. So that's where my square root function starts. Okay, it looks something like this. This is x plus 3, so we know it starts at positive 3. Okay, and it would look something like this. And it intersects one time. Okay, well, where does it intersect? It intersects at the point x equals 6. So now I need to figure out, does from here to 6 satisfy my inequality, or does from 6 to infinity satisfy my inequality? All right, well, I'm looking at when this is greater, when the function is greater than 6. Well, that's not possible. The only place that it is greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to 6 is at the point 6. Okay, because it's equal to 6 right here. It's never greater than, it's down here, and it looks like this. So it never goes above my linear function. It touches it, yes, it's equal to it at one point, x equals 6. All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4, I'll start with my domain restriction. So my domain restriction is 3x minus 2 is greater than 0. So we add 2 to both sides. Bam, 3x is greater than 2. X is greater than 2 thirds. All right, now we want to solve this. So we'll subtract 4 on both sides. Square root of 3x minus 2 is greater than 3/5 x. Okay, let's do this. I'm not doing with all those fractions. Let's get rid of the fractions first. So let's multiply by 5 on both sides to get rid of my fractions. Let's do that. So we got 5 square root of 3x minus 2 plus 20, because 5 times 4 is 20, is greater than 3x plus 22. All right, let's rock. So minus 20 minus 20, 5 square root of 3x minus 2 is greater than 3x plus 2. Now we want to square both sides. Get rid of my square root. So we get 25, 3x minus 2 is greater than 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. Now let's go and distribute that in. That's 75x. When we move the 75x, that's going to give me 9x squared minus 63x. This is going to give me a minus 50, so we add 50 to that side and we get plus 54. Now we look to factor that, and once again, It's factorable, but what I can do right now is I notice that those are all divisible by 9, so this becomes 0 is greater than x squared minus 7x plus 6. So now that's easily factorable into x minus 6x minus 1. So we know that we have two solutions, 2 points of intersection at x equals 6 and x equals 1. My domain restriction is that x is greater than 2/3. So we know my function starts at 2/3. Okay, so we went over to the right 2, we went up 4. Bam, there it is. Sorry, no, okay, sorry. Holy crap, what's that? My function starts at 2/3, so it looks something like this. Okay, we know my linear function, 3/5 x plus 22/5. So we need to figure out when is my radical less than my linear function. Well, it's less than my linear function from this to my first point, which is at 2/3, and then it's less than at my second point on. Okay, now why is it to 2/3? Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, it starts at 2/3, excuse me. So from 2/3 to my first intersection, which is 1, and then from my second intersection, which is at x equals 6, on to infinity, because this is less than going to infinity. So now how do I write that? Okay, I would say that x is equal to two-thirds to 1. Now, that's not included because there is no equals to bar underneath. So from 2/3 to 1, union with, now we're starting at 6, and again it's not included, to infinity.